the Niners, right? And I heard Colin Cowherd and a couple other people on mainstream media and so on saying what happens every year. One team is really, really good, and they kind of drop off, right? A lot of people will speculate maybe Philadelphia. Buffalo's a popular one, and I would agree with the Buffalo take. Maybe not quite as much with Philly. I think with Philly, you're in the right. The people that are saying Philly, you're in the right direction, in the right conference. I would look more at San Francisco. It's a little bit troubling when you look at what normally causes these issues. Quarterback problems is one, injuries is another, offensive line problems is another. And as much as I like San Francisco's offensive core, let's be real here. George Kittle's an old 29, right? That's just how it goes. He's been hurt now in the past 3 seasons. Now this past season he was more healthy than others, but still a little bit banged up. Christian McCaffrey is a very old 27. He has not had 2 years back to back playing over 15 games in the last like 3 years. So that's a bit of an issue. Trent Williams is an old 34, their best offensive lineman, and we know that offensive lines generally dictate, one, your running game, which is wildly impactful in San Francisco. We know that. And also the health of your quarterback, which is already in question with Brock Purdy's elbow. So there's a lot of things not going their way. And now let's look at their schedule, right? I don't think they got the hardest schedule, but I don't think they got a highly favorable schedule. And I think we talked about when I was looking at Pittsburgh's schedule, and I saw that, they get San Francisco at some point in the year. That could be pretty tough. Later in the year, especially if we get them, that would be tough. Will we actually get to open up with them? So it's Pittsburgh hosting San Francisco. For San Francisco, that's not a very good break. We know that they've started slow in the past couple years under Kyle Shanahan. They normally start slow. I think that's going to be even accentuated with Brock Purdy's injury. Is he going to be 100%? Is he even going to start, or is it going to be Sam Darnold? Right? So you're looking at the schedule, and I wrote it down, right? So they're at Pittsburgh, at the Rams. Then they come back home for the Giants, Cardinals, and Dallas. They go to Cleveland and Minnesota. They come back home for Cincinnati, go to Florida to face Jacksonville. Then they have the Buccaneers at home, at Seattle, at Philly, Seattle at home, at Arizona, Baltimore at home, at Washington, and then you have the Rams. Couple things stand out to me, right? I'm looking right now. So they go to Pittsburgh. That's a bit of a hike. And then they're at the Rams. So they have to go over to Pittsburgh and then all the way back for the Rams. And then they're home against the Giants. That's fine. Home for 3 straight. And then they go all the way back across country to Cleveland and then home. And then they go back across country to Minnesota and then back home for Cincinnati. And then you go to Florida for Jacksonville. And then when you could already just stayed in Florida for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, nope, you come home for the Bucks. Up to Seattle's not bad, but then you go to Philly, and then you come back home. You get Seattle at home. Then you go to Arizona, that's not bad. Baltimore at home's not bad. Then you go to Washington, and then come back home for the Rams. That's a lot of travel. For an older team, an injury-prone team, that's a team that plays very physical. That's a lot of travel. So they didn't get a break there. Let's start with that. Second of all, I'm looking at the quarterback, and I like Brock. Well, let's assume Brock Purdy's healthy, right? Because we could play the what-if game all day. Well, what if his elbow hurts until week 4 and then he's good? Or what if he doesn't start until week 5? So we could play the what-if game all day. Let's pretend Brock Purdy's going to be healthy for the start of the season, and he's fine. And I like Brock Purdy. I think he's a very fine quarterback for what they're paying him. I would be interested. If it was the Steelers, I'd be like, cool, I like Brock. Let's roll with him, right? But in 12 of the 17 games that the Niners are going to play this year, they have a quarterback disadvantage. I'll go through them all. I would argue Kenny Pickett right now is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. I think he's got more arm talent. I think he moves a little bit better. Now I think Brock, with the surrounding players, could put up very similar statistical numbers, but I think Kenny's a more talented quarterback. I think Matt Stafford, if he's healthy, is a more talented quarterback. Dak, for all his shortcomings, and as much as we discuss that I don't think Dak is worth the money they're paying him, I think Dak is a much better quarterback than Brock Purdy at this point. I think Deshaun Watson, as long as he is not... He's going to be better than last year. He took like 2 years off. He's going to be better. I think Deshaun's a better quarterback. At least physically, he's a more athletic quarterback. We can kid ourselves here, but Kirk Cousins is a big boy quarterback. He is much better than Brock Purdy. Joe Burrow, we don't even need to discuss that. Trevor Lawrence, we don't even need to discuss that. One that's going to shock people, I think Geno Smith right now is a better quarterback. I think he's a more veteran presence. He's a bigger, stronger athlete. Jalen Hurts is obviously a better quarterback. Lamar is a better quarterback. And once again, Matt Stafford to finish off the year is a better quarterback. So 12 of 17 games, they're going to have a worse quarterback. I think they only are better than Daniel Jones, whoever starts in Arizona, Baker Mayfield for the Bucs, who we'll get to later, Arizona again, and then Washington, whoever they start, Jacoby Brissett, Sam Howell, whatever. 12 of 17, you're going to have a worse quarterback. So we look at let's sum up here. We look at the things that usually usually lead to teams dropping off. Age. Well, a lot of their young offensive pieces are certainly, or not even young. A lot of their impactful offensive pieces are starting to be on the downslope of their career, especially Trent Williams and George Kittle. You look at, well, their offensive line, but wasn't actually all that good last year. It was okay. Trent Williams is a very good left tackle, but in the interior, it's pretty weak, and they actually lost a couple pieces this offseason, so look out Brock Purdy. And then you look at the schedule. You look at quarterback play. I think it could be very, very shaky for the Niners. I don't think it's crazy. Now, I'm not saying that they drop down and win 7 games, but if they go 9-8 and sneak in as the third wildcard team, would that surprise you? I don't think it would surprise me one bit.
No, and this is something that we've always talked about, and you just touched on it. 12 of 17 games. That's alarming. That's alarming. To have the worst, most important position in the game.
That's
right.
Yes. I mean, you could be bad at a lot of places. If you're good at quarterback, you are a viable NFL team.
Yes. And you have to be good at quarterback.
When's
the last time somebody won in this league without a very competent quarterback? We'll say competent because, I mean, every now and then you'll catch a team that sneaks in, like with a Ryan Tannehill when they made that run, right? But he's still a competent quarterback.
If we're talking Super Bowl winners, Nick Foles, that's about it.
Yeah.
In recent memory, that's Nick Foles. That's the list.
And I don't even think Brock Purdy's not on the Nick Foles level yet.
No, I think Nick Foles at that point was more of a veteran, had some more nuance. And for all Nick Foles' shortcomings as well, right? He's a big, strong athlete. Like Nick Foles is a tall, stronger athlete than a Brock Purdy. I think he's got a better arm at that point in time than Brock Purdy does. And I like Brock. He's accurate. He gets the ball out on time. Like, he does a lot of things well. But let's not act like he's a world beater. Like we were talking about, the ball dies. Like, he does not have a very strong arm.
Yeah. Just to play devil's advocate for a second, I think the one thing that the 49ers do well is run the football and dominate the trenches at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I think that's very important to make to have sustained success. So you can tell usually when you watch a football game in the first half, if they're dominating at the line of scrimmage and they can just do whatever they want with the run game, you're like, okay, this is over. It's done.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time if they can dominate the line of scrimmage, but then you're going to have something that plays off of that. You're going to need a quarterback that can throw off play action.
Yeah.
You're going to need a quarterback that can get out of the pocket, scramble, throw.
And Brock can, but he doesn't do anything special.
He doesn't do anything. I'm not even saying you have to do something like Mahomes because that's one guy and nobody else can do things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. I mean, you go through the league, and the top 7 to 8 quarterbacks all can do something at least a little bit special to make things happen.
I mean, even if you go on guys more his level, more on Brock's level, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Dak Prescott.
I was going to say.
They are all much more, I think, consistent players and better throwers of the football.
Dak has a way better arm.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. Kirk can rip it. Kirk can rip it. So it's that's what I just think that's my team. If I had to pick a team right now that would drop off, they went to the NFC Championship, won 13 games, 12 games, something like that.
Yeah,
that's the team that drops by 5 wins. It doesn't blow me away.
Sure,
that's all I'm saying.
Sure, maybe that'll be a hit